Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 28 of Hooked on Sonics. I'm Bruce. That's Tony. Hello.
Good evening, good sir.
Good evening.
Good.
Boy, good evening. I think we've got a really interesting show. This is earlier today on our Facebook page. I posted a Rick Rubin quote about mixing genres, and that's some creative stuff. And boy, it don't get much different than Ike and Tina Turner and Biohazard.
I've been trying to come up with an idea for the name for the show, and I was thinking Urban Discipline on Basil Street.
That's a good one. I was
I
also
think
thinking Ike and Tina bring urban discipline. So,
that's a good one too. That is a
we'll
good
arm
one.
wrestle over it.
We could. But with that being said, I think we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful show this evening.
Absolutely.
I do look forward to spending this time with you. What have you been into, man? What have you been listening to?
Oh, buddy. So, have I got some good stuff that I picked up this week?
Okay.
For all you audiophiles. The first one, I was inspired. Ike and Tina Turner's Out of Season album.
You found this?
Yeah.
Where did you find it
at? Found this at Raven Records in Knoxville, Tennessee. I also found a first pressing of Leonard Skinner's Second Helping.
Nice.
Beautiful. And then I was able to annoy Rhea over the weekend with some of the good stuff that I found. Screaming Jay Hawkins, Because Is in Your Mind. And of course, the Bizarre Years with such classic hits as Swamp Gas, Shut Your Mouth When You Sneeze, and Ignorant and Shit.
Really?
Good one? Yes. So good.
Nice.
This here, I don't know if you've ever heard of these guys. Blackjack. And I don't know if you recognize these first two gentlemen.
Well, to be honest with you, the first two gentlemen look almost like Ronnie James Dio and fucking Tony Iommi.
No, it is Michael Bolton and Bruce Kulick. This is their band.
And Bruce Kulick. Interesting.
Yep. This was before he changed his name. His original last name was Bolotin. So,
but he would change his name and move on and be very successful.
To do some Michael Bolton shit. So this is a really cool album. It actually looks like a deck of playing cards here.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's super cool.
What a cool concept. You want to know what else is a very cool album cover? Album that I used to own was the Twisted Sister Come Out and Play. It had a sewer lid that opened up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
And last but not least, one of the finest live albums that you will ever hear in your life. This is really rare to come by. It's on 180 gram vinyl. AC/DC Live from the Razor's Edge tour. And
nice.
Oh man, this thing, double record. Just great. This is a great tour.
I think you gave me the DVD for that.
I probably did.
I think you gave me the DVD for that.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's in my closet somewhere. I'm sure.
Yeah, so I've been jamming on those.
Oh man, you sound like you had your hands full. I wish my hands could be that full. I've been somewhat busy, but I've also been with the new computer. Obviously, we got a nice gaming computer too. So yeah, I've been checking out Diablo 4 lately, man, and I just got to check it out last night, and I was really happy about that. I've been a fan of the
Sweet.
series since the beginning. So, um, other than that, music wise, man, probably listen to it a little bit more tempo. Obviously, checked out the album that you gave me, and then uh, who else have I been checking out this week, man? Might have been listening to a little bit more Yam,
No, yeah.
Elder. Probably listening to some Elder here recently too. But just found out that freaking Fire Breather's coming back to Columbus again. They're going to be at the Ace of Cups. Tickets are like $15, August 25th, dude. Guess where I'm going to be?
Working.
Those dudes wail, man. They're like, I do not understand how, like, dude, they're so good. They're so
Yeah.
fucking good. Yeah, they really
I
are.
love. I was telling somebody at work earlier this week or last week. I don't even remember. But he's like, man, I'm about ready to spend $450 to go see Morgan Wallen and all this shit. I'm like, no, that's not my style. Give me a low dose show any day of the week. I'll catch someone coming up and I'll catch them coming down. I love it.
Dude, it all depends, man. I mean, I've been blessed to see some great shows that were pretty pricey, man. Like, Dad got me tickets to go see the Who at uh, the Shot and Scene Center, and we were just off the side of the stage, pretty far up. But just to get to hear those songs live and see them perform live, like, I grew up listening to the Who. They were one of my favorite bands that my dad turned me on to, and
Yeah.
I remember sitting in the seats and I'm with all these fucking old dudes around me. And they went into fucking Bob O'Reilly, and I was like, I can't sit for this one. Can't do it. I just grabbed my dad up and I said, I don't give a fuck about anybody behind us. You stand up. We salute this fucking song. This is the fucking most rockin'est shit they ever fucking did. Get the fuck up. And we stood up and we fucking rocked out during that song. And I looked around and said, hope you don't mind. I had a good time.
I love it.
Dude, there's no way. I can't sit. That's the type of song you hear come
Yeah.
on the fucking radio. You got a wide open road. You fucking just open it up like, fuck it.
You air drum the shit out of that song.
Dude, get the fuck out of here.
All right, quick question.
Class. Yes.
Quick question. Who's better, Keith Moon, John Bonham? Gun to your head.
Bonham was a madman, dude. I'm sorry. Bonham was a madman, dude.
Yeah.
He just, when you go back through like Zeppelin's catalog and you listen to his drumming, it's like he was like the beginning of rock drummers that had like some jazz tones and stuff in there. Like, he had skill, dude. He had mad fucking skill, dude.
Yeah.
Nothing against Keith Moon whatsoever,
Oh no.
but you got to ask yourself, where would we be if John Bonham was still alive today? What would he be doing? Because his son's a phenomenal drummer too, and I've seen his son.
Oh yeah, Jason. Oh
Yeah.
God. Well, here's a question: if John Bonham would have lived, would Led Zeppelin still be going at it? Because his death was a major catalyst for Robert Plant to say, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this.
Well, Plant had already been through shit by that time. Didn't he lose his son?
Yes.
Yeah, he lost a son
Yep.
sometime before that, or around that, man.
Around
I can't
that time.
remember exactly, So, I mean, when you've got that much, those two kind of heavy blows, maybe people start thinking maybe I'm not in the right direction that I need to be in.
Yeah.
And they divert direction. You know what I mean?
Yep. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Cool. I mean, but no, man, I'll tell you, and my guitar player said it best, and I absolutely agree with him, dude. Jimmy Page, Axl Rose, and Ace Frehley are the reason why I absolutely love Les Pauls.
Axl Rose.
Not Axel, sorry, fucking Slash. Hey, dude, remember that conversation we had earlier?
Yes, sir.
Anyways, but no, Slash, Ace, and Jimmy Page are the reasons why I wasn't an
I
SG
would agree
guy.
with that.
I
Yep.
wasn't an SG guy. That's Angus Young. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
That's his thing. Tony Iommi is an SG guy.
Yep.
You know. Now that I'm older, I appreciate them a little bit more. But I've put a few in my hands, and I'll tell you, man, they don't feel like no damn fucking Les Paul.
Yep. I agree. People talk about Fenders and the Tellys and the Strats. Keep them. I don't want nothing to do
Dude,
with them.
I've picked up a made in Mexico Strat, dude, and if it's anything as close to a Strat that they say it is, it's an amazing guitar. I won't bullshit you, but I have no use for it in my guitar writing world.
Yeah.
I just don't. They're
Yep.
beautiful guitars, but um, I don't write with things that have single coil pickups. I just don't do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Nothing like a Les Paul.
and if I was going to own anything that was single coil, it would be a Telecaster.
Hmm.
For
You know
blues
what?
purposes.
Scott sent me something this morning. He found it on Reverb. It was a Paul Stanley Ibanez Iceman 10 or something like that. One of his Ibanez's, his signature models. And it was only $900. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Have you ever seen the one that looks like a
It's,
bat wing?
yes.
I see them for $200 all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
You should get one.
if I bought any Kiss guitar, it wouldn't be a guitar.
No.
Well,
What would you get?
it would be a guitar. It'd be an Ace model. But
Yeah.
honestly, if I could have just one Kiss guitar, I'd take the what is it, the
The
Specialized,
axe.
the axe that Court
Yeah.
did Court make that for him?
Yes. He's still got them up for sale on GeneSimmons.com. And you can get them with or without blood on them.
I bet they're pretty pricey.
Of course they are.
They got to be at least $1,000.
The Ace Frehley Les Pauls at one point were going for $5,000.
See, but they release Frehley Les Pauls every so once in a while. So
It's been a long time.
What you want to do is you want to be prepared. When was the blues release? The blue and silver ones.
That was mid 2000s, maybe 2010.
And that probably was the last one.
Yeah. And then Epiphone came out with Tommy Thayer silver Les Paul, but it's Tommy Thayer. I don't give a shit.
You know what I want, dude? Matt Pike plays, and I don't even really care. Well, yeah, I do. I can't say I don't. But my main burst is silver burst when it comes to guitar. I like white. I like black. I like very plain colors. I don't like the reds, the blues, and all that other good shit. But I have taken a liking to some of the natural wood burst or flame tops, maple tops, whatever. Or the quilt burst and shit like that. But anyways, Matt Pike has a Gibson Les Paul. I don't know the fucking model, but I've seen several pictures of him with it. And it's in an Arctic white. I wish Gibson would do a signature model of one of those with his pickups in it. And I would probably fucking pull the trigger.
Yeah.
I would definitely pull the fucking trigger. Just because that's my hero right now, man. You know, like Pike's a badass, dude. Like I'm telling you what, there's he's the man, dude.
Sweet.
But we've yapped long enough.
Good night, everyone.
So I digress. What are you drinking?
What are you drinking?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So the drink of tonight is brought to you by Angry Orchard Hardcore. It's a dark cherry apple, 8% alcohol, and this thing is mighty tasty.
Nice, nice. And that's your review.
That's
So
my review, and mighty tasty.
I've thought about the alcohol aspect of our show. And I often put on the Spotify that it's music and brew reviews. So let's do brew reviews or alcohol reviews that we're having on a 5-star scale. What do you give that Angry Orchard there, Bubba?
Okay, so I'm not going to put it up against other beers and stuff like that. I'll put it up against other ciders. Right. This is right up there with me, with reds, and there's another cider I can't think of off the top of my head.
You know who I like in ciders? Strongbow.
Yeah, Strongbow. Yeah, it's right up there. I give this a solid 10. Like there's nothing wrong with this.
We're doing 5.
Oh, okay.
5 star.
I give it an 8.
5-star.
I give it an 8 for the alcohol content.
I'm done with you.
Yeah, normally these things come in like 5% alcohol, so I got one little extra boost. Good time.
Good, good. Well, this evening I don't think I have ever drank one of my favorite distilleries or breweries beers on air in all of these episodes. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go with the number one. The number one that's easiest to find, at least. Right? We are drinking Stone IPA, coming in at 6.9% alcohol. This is a perfect IPA. It gets an absolute 5-star from me. There are many beers at Stone that get a 5-star from me. Their Ruination, if you like things super hopped up and you want to ruin your palate for about 4 hours, drink a 6-pack of Ruination. And let me know where you
Boy, that's a ringing endorsement.
Hey, look, I absolutely love. I got to visit the Richmond, Virginia location.
I was going to say, where is that at?
We were supposed to get them. There was a big to-do on whether Columbus, Ohio would get them or Richmond, Virginia would get them. And Richmond won out, man. So their main locations, I think, in California, San Diego, San Francisco, maybe. Maybe even LA. But I know they're out in that direction. But they, we were visiting her friends down in Richmond, and we were looking for just some place to go. She said, "Is there any breweries around that we can maybe go to or anything like that?" And I said, "Well, let's take a look." And I said, "Holy shit, we're in Richmond, Virginia." I said, "Stone's down here somewhere." So we looked it up. We were about 10 minutes from it, and we went and spent the rest of the evening before we took off just buying a bunch of fucking merchandise.
Hell yeah.
And drinking a bunch of beers that we could only have there, dude. They had a sour water lily ale that was absolutely amazing. I wish I could have it every summer up here. It's an amazing, amazing, refreshing beer. But yes, Stone Brewing Company, dude. Absolute love for that company, dude. Always has been. They also are the creators of Arrogant Bastard Ale.
Yep. And also the, I don't know, it's probably just a limited run of their supposed Pilsner of
the Metallica Pilsner.
Yeah.
Internight, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a Pilsner. It's not.
By standards, it is, too.
Yeah, it don't taste like
maybe because it was a little more hoppier than you like. But
a little?
At the end of the day, think about this.
That was Easter Bunny.
Can you tell the difference in hops between fucking Bud Light and fucking or Budweiser and fucking Miller?
High Life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's more hoppier?
I think Budweiser is.
Out of your mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Triple hop filtered. Come on now, that's Miller, dude.
Don't know.
And it does have it. So maybe you you prefer things that are more malt and barley.
Probably.
Wheat prominent. You know, and those are all aspects of beer too. So
yep.
Oh, cool. But yes, drinking this evening. Um, let's go ahead and give you some news. I think we
How
do
about
have some
that?
news. There was
Hey,
some
did
pretty interesting stuff I did see.
did you see that thing I sent you about the drummer for Queensryche? Apparently, the
Yes,
founding. Yeah.
yes. So if anybody didn't see this coming, you're sadly mistaken. There is shareholdership of the Queensryche brand, and you can't expect to just oust anybody out from that. That's kind of the same thing that's going on with Mick Mars and Motley Crue. Do you guys think that Mick Mars doesn't deserve any more royalties from Motley Crue because he's no longer with the band? I don't think that's fucking fair. He's the reason they even have a fucking career.
I'll okay. So, can I add something real quick?
Go for it.
So, John Five was just with Eddie Trunk a couple days ago talking about kind of all that stuff, and he stayed out of the weeds as far as like the legal aspects of it. He's like, I have no idea what's going on, but they were all in the studio with Bob Rock. They're going to put out new music here real soon,
That's to be
and
expected.
John Five said that it is some of the heaviest stuff that they have ever written, beyond anything heavy from like Shout at the Devil or anything like that. He's super excited about it.
And, as he should be. But
Mm-hmm.
let's be honest. At the end of the
But do
day,
you think McMarsh should get a piece of that? I don't.
I don't think that he deserves a piece of whatever is created afterwards. No, I'm not saying that he
Right.
does, but he is a shareholder of Motley Crue, dude. He's been there
Mm-hmm.
since the beginning. He is a pivotal part of what they do. As long as there's royalties to be had off the albums that he had input on,
Mm-hmm. And merchandise.
the merchandise, he needs to be compensated. So
Absolutely.
just real quick from our friends over here at blabbermouth.net, 311 announces a fall 2023 tour with special guest A1 Nation and Blame My Youth. Be able to look out for that. I love those guys at 311. Man, I've seen them a few times. Great band. The Darkness is celebrating 20th anniversary of Permission to Land on an October 2023 North American tour. Overkill announces a 2023 U.S. tour with X Order and Healing. You got your Foo Fighters, Fall Out Boys, 30 Seconds to Mars will be performing at the iHeart Music Festival. Uh, Queens of Stone Age announced The End is Nero Summer Fall 2023 American Tour. If you're a wrestling fan and fan of Fozzy as a band, they're going to release a new
Jericho.
single. Yep, they're going to release a new single. Nina Strauss has a new single video out for Victorious. Tool, this is a big one, announces a fall 2023 American tour. And I tell you what, man, it's there's a lot going on there.
Yep.
There's footage out there of Metallica starting off on this tour for the new album. So if you get to see some of that, go take a look. I'm sure it's out there on the fucking tube. But yeah, lots of good shit going on, man. And
Yep. Foo
that is
Fighters just
one.
released an album on Friday.
I was not aware of that. I did not see that come up.
Yep. Yep. Foo Fighters released an album. Uh, Tanya Tucker released a great album, produced by Shooter Jennings and Brandy Carlisle. Just a continuation of this good stuff that she's putting out. So that's what I got.
So I know a while back, one of the Judds passed away.
Naomi.
Will there be a final Judd album, or will they continue? Have you heard anything on that?
No, so Winona went on tour. She's been a solo artist for a really long time. And Tanya Tucker was actually on tour with her. And they would come out, or Tanya would come out, around the middle of the show and sing a couple of Judd songs with Winona. and that was really cool. But as far as like an actual album, probably not. They were not. I tell you what, for anybody willing to get into the mud of the Judds, check out the podcast "Cocaine and Rhinestones." There's a whole episode dedicated to the Judds and their dysfunction, and great musicians, but crazy family drama.
Interesting. One more thing I would like to report. There's a single out there in video footage of members of Typo Negative and Crowbar as a band called I Am, EYE-AM. And it's the guitar player, singer for Crowbar, the bass player, a longtime bass player from Crowbar, and Kenny Hickey and Johnny Kelly from Typo Negative. And
Sweet.
it sounds pretty freaking good, man. Like, yeah, it sounds good. I can't wait to hear the rest.
Hey, real quick, one last thing. Speaking of, openings and stuff, if you've got some free time, I know somebody who's looking for a lead singer. After they announced they had a lead singer, the guy said, "Yeah, I'm really excited." And then they said, "No, just kidding. We don't have a lead singer." Vinnie Vincent is releasing another album, supposedly. He hired a singer. I forget the guy's name. Big press release on it. And literally like a day or two later, Vinny came out and said, "No, we haven't made any official decision yet. We're still looking." And the singer was like, "What? This is news to me. We had a deal." So
That
if
dude's
you're
a hot
looking
mess.
for, yeah, dude.
I wouldn't touch him
I
with a
don't
10-foot pole, dude.
know.
He is a hot mess. He is a PR nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody who would even want to run the risk of spending any money to see him or buy any of his stuff, good luck to you.
And it's very unfortunate because he was a great talent, Now
Yep.
I watch video footage of him and it's very awkward. It's so awkward.
Yeah.
No,
But you don't like pantsuits?
No, I'm just talking about like recent video footage of him. It's very awkward. Like I saw him jamming with somebody from Kiss or somebody, just he had come out and did some shit and he just sitting there like,
yeah, he was with Fraley's Comet.
Almost like an animatronic fucking puppet, dude. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? And I don't mean to be mean, but dude, there's something definitely not right there. And then when you follow along with what he has going on as far as booking shows and canceling them in and all this other grand shit, he is a hot fucking mess. I would, if you are even considering working with this guy, I implore you, just do a small amount of digging. You will find out things will be very problematic. This goes out to all you major labels and all you underdog labels. Don't do it.
This public service announcement has been brought to you by Hooked on Sonics.
Believe it. Don't do it, dude. He's a hot mess. Kiss has drama. That dude is all of Kiss's drama times 10.
Yeah.
So
there's no way he's ever going to go on stage with those guys for the last show. No way.
I don't know, dude.
No way.
I don't know, dude.
Paul will not allow it.
It is a nightmare. I have seen him in action in the last 5 or so years. It is a nightmare. You are pretty much putting somebody like, I don't get it. Like, it looks like the way that he's up there in some of those videos, like he's going to snap any
he's
second
scared
to take somebody out, dude. Like he's going to go, all right, this is it. Somebody's got to go. And he freaks me out, dude.
Yeah.
He freaks me out, dude. Like, There are black metal acts that freak me out because of the black metal thing, but this dude genuinely freaks me out because he looks unhinged, completely unhinged.
Ask the dogs he's got stored in Tupperware in his
And
backyard.
don't get me wrong, I love the guy as far as his contributions to what he did with Kiss,
Yes.
because he had to come in and fill in some big fucking shoes. Let's be honest. But at the end of the day, I don't know what's happened in that time frame from where he disappeared and then all of a sudden he's back in some kind of limelight. This guy, I don't want to get into it.
He's something. He's
He's
something.
He's certifiable. I bet he's
Yeah.
got papers.
Yeah. Somewhere.
Hey, crazy recognize crazy, and that cat looks awfully fucking familiar right now.
Me and Kate are going to have a talk after this, if that looks familiar. So,
Oh shit!
God. All right, man. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
You ready for some reviews?
Let's do it. Who's up first?
You are.
All right. So let me make sure that I've got
All
this
right.
correct, because I want to pull this album up. Give me just 2 seconds here.
Now, let me preface this by I had a hell of a time trying to decide which Ike and Tina Turner album I wanted to give you. There was so much to choose from, and it was like, this is the best. It was the best live album that I could find that had a little bit of everything in it. It wasn't the perfect package, but it had a little bit of everything in it, and I really liked this album. I do implore you, if anyone likes good old soul blues music, stuff like that, definitely check out that out of season album that I just picked up by Ike and Tina Turner. Fantastic. Oh, so good. But I digress.
I had in person Ike and Tina Turner live at Basin Street, and this album looks like it was released in 1969, June of 1969. Bruce is correct. There's a lot going on here. First of all, it's obviously a live album. If you're expecting a miracle sounding thing live from the crowd, you're not going to get that. This is some older stuff. And the technology just probably wasn't there to pick it all up, It definitely picked up some, and that's fine. But let's start off with the opening track, Everyday People.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe Tina had come out and sang on that track, because it was just like an opening track, and the Ikeettes did their thing. And it is a phenomenal way to start the album. Sounded absolutely excellent. Probably one of the best ways I've ever heard that song, and I've heard that song a couple different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And it is definitely a hell of an opener. A hell of an opener. Moving into Give Me Some Love and Sweet Soul Music, I think they go ahead and bring Tina out at that time. And the album just continues. It just continues to, hey, we're here, and here's the star of the show, Tina Turner. And I'm going to get into that here in a second, but it just keeps on rocking. But as I continue down through this set list, I have to ask myself a couple things, because the next song is Son of a Preacher Man, right? And then we move into I Heard It Through the Grapevine and Respect, and these are all wonderful classic R&B tunes, and will always remain classic R&B tunes. And they do a fantastic job on that. But as we get down through to the side B of things, there was a time, African Booze, James Brown, Funky Street, I don't know that this was theirs. A Fool in Love. Okay, that sounds, it may have been theirs. I believe it is. The Summit, All I Could Do Is Cry, Please, Please, Please. I don't believe that whole medley is theirs, and Goodbye So Long is theirs. So to me, this album seems like just a straight live cover album with a couple of their tracks on it.
Mhm.
And do I think that their tracks could hold up without the rest of this stuff on the album? I don't know. I really don't. I'm not saying that they're not good tracks, but when you go down through this set list, what do you recognize? You recognize everything that isn't theirs.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, and this isn't to take away from the performance on the album whatsoever. Um, it's it's a phenomenal album. I'm just going to put it like that. Okay. It is classic R&B. You could almost say swing slash jazz slash there's southern. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on in there, and they do a great job. And Tina sounds absolutely amazing. But
Oh,
this comes into where I have to ask myself,
so
listening to this album, I'm going to guess because I don't know for sure, and I apologize. Ike Turner was either a guitar player or a bass player. I want to say he's a bass.
I believe he was a guitar player.
Okay. It leads me to wonder, was he a good enough guitar player? Let's be honest.
There
Hold,
was
hold
some
on, hold on.
pretty.
You weigh caliber of artist, Ike Turner
Mhm.
to Tina Turner. Was he as good a guitar player as she was a singer?
No, no, no.
So let's be honest here. Of the two, she is the talent.
Yes, and I think beyond the billing of the Ike and Tina Turner review, they made it very clear Tina was the fucking star.
Right.
Tina was the motor on this.
Yeah.
And I think Ike had, because he had his control issues, his name had to be on there, and he was the band leader. But she's the one. She was
Well,
in control
there's something
of
else I
that
want to talk
on
about,
stage.
but before we get too extended on this thing, listening to this album, you have these medleys, right? And there are
Mm-hmm.
breakdowns on these classic albums like this, especially when it's live stuff, right? Where the
Yeah,
singer really sits down and tells a story or gets you thinking, right?
yeah,
Janis Joplin does this too. And what I got off this album was more Big Brother and the Holding Company style thing going on as I listened to it because Tina come out and gave that long speech about you ever done wrong and da 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 da.
yeah,
It reminded me so much of Janis Joplin, how she would ramble on in between songs live. And if you listen to them, they've got something to say, man. Like
yeah,
that's what it was for that time frame. Hey, 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 hold on a second. We're having a great time, but I got something to say.
yeah.
And I dig that, man. I really do dig that. It's a really cool element in that style of music. So I can't damn this album by any means. It's a phenomenal piece of work, and I appreciate the input. I'm going to give this album, as far as the style, production at the time, and track listing, the playing, I've got to give it a solid 9.5.
Yeah,
It gets
that's fair.
and the only reason it doesn't break a 10 for me is because I have my issues with it being pretty much a cover up.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I think that was their thing. I mean, obviously, I believe they came out in like 1963,
Right.
so they had only been out for a few years. They had put out a lot of albums. There was a lot of covers on those albums, but the idea of the show was a review, a music review.
Dude, it
So
was a phenomenal album. I sat
yeah,
here last night in the silence of just hanging out, playing on my tablet, put it through the studio speakers, and sat here and just listened to the album off of YouTube and was just like, solid album. I just all night long, my leg was humming, and I'm just like, yeah, this is a good album.
and
Very, very, very great pick.
she had complete control of that audience.
Cheers.
Salute, Tina.
We
Uh,
lost it. We lost a queen and a goddess.
oh gosh, and honestly, I think especially any of people in our audience, they're only going to know the 80s Tina,
Right.
you know?
I
And
implore
God,
you. I
man.
implore you check these groups out because they are good. They
Oh
are
gosh.
absolutely good. Phenomenal, phenomenal. As a matter of fact, Kate asked me last night. She goes, "Well, what was you?" Or she asked me this morning. She goes, "What was you listening to last night?" I said, "The album that Bruce gave me." I said, "Did you dig something off him?" She goes, "No, I just recognized it wasn't Doom."
Like, oh,
So,
oh, I seen a little sunlight coming through the window.
no, man, I still listen to all kinds of stuff, man. I've been checking out a lot of atheists lately too, dude. I'm pumped about getting to see these guys because I can just remember being like
Yeah.
15 years old, 16 years old. Like
Yeah.
these guys rock. Like I'm pumped, dude. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, man, I didn't really have a lot of experiences going to a lot of shows because of my situation. And now it's just people really don't understand how much I love music. I lived on Ninth and I during my junior and senior year in high school. On weekends when I didn't have uh, when I wasn't working one of my three fucking jobs, I I would hang outside the side door of the Newport and watch the bands play.
Yeah.
You know, just a little bird's eye view off the side of the stage. The guys, the roadies and shit never said anything to me. Security never said anything to me. And I kind of grew up with the Newport Music Hall since about
Yeah.
15. Yeah.
Heck yeah. I love
Yeah.
it. Well, speaking of going back to when we were Biohazard's Urban Discipline.
Yeah, we lost you there for a second. What was you
Let
saying?
no, so you know, going back to this Biohazard Urban Discipline review, this this album really brought me back to being about 15, 16 years old. Um, this was released November 10th of 1992. And this this is exactly what I would have been listening to when I was 15, 16 years old. Exactly what I've been listening to. So this was like, but I heard of Biohazard, but I didn't like the name. So I just didn't pay no attention to them. Shame on me as a dumb kid. Um, so listening to this album for the first time, it was like, it was kind of like visiting an old friend, but it was like a friend of your old friend. And you're like, hey, I know you. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. This Biohazard had everything that I would be looking for when I was that age.
Well,
This album had hints of Slayer in the production. Some of the riffs were very Seasons of the Abyss in that time frame. The production, some of the riffs, very Slayer like. There is even, if you really listen close, the even hints of Bad Motorfinger. Obviously, not the same vocal stylings, but some of the tasty riffs in that very similar to Bad Motorfinger, and of course, you obviously, in your first band, Suspect Earth, there, you had to have gained a lot of influence from Biohazard because there is a lot of influence in there.
New York
So
City hardcore is one of my things, man. It just always has, and things that have spawned out of it, man. It's just there's good fucking shit. And dude, here's a funny thing. I can't even say it's just New York City hardcore. I just can't because bands that have this kind of style have now
yeah,
evolved over in like Connecticut and Virginia and shit like that, dude. So it's like a northern, almost, not quite Midwestern, but northern East Coast thing, man. And it's, dude, there's so
yep,
many bands that do this style of music or something of this style of music, and there's so much good. Go ahead.
mm,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, man. I like it's like I'm so glad how you're feeling
yeah.
about this album.
Yeah, so this album had one single on it. It was "Punishment." The original version was featured in Dolph Lundgren's version of The Punisher on that soundtrack. And then I don't know if you remember Onyx. Slam! Da, 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 da. They re-recorded "Punishment" with Biohazard as the backing band, and that was put on the Judgment Day soundtrack.
Judgment Night.
Oh, you're right.
Judgment Night.
Judgment Night.
As a matter of fact, your album tonight was going to be that album or the album I'm getting to. But
That's
you're
funny.
probably getting Judgment Night next week. You're gonna get an education in New York style hardcore. I figured this is your mission before the end of the year.
Aren't you happy, guys? Anyway, so again, there is so much good about this album. Um, I don't know who the lead guitar player is on this. My God, man, they're not overly complicated solos, uh, but God, every one of them's just to the point and just perfect. For every solo is perfect for what the song needed. Every song. The only thing I was like was "Loss." It starts off very slow, and Evan's voice is not made for soft stuff. It's just not. And you could tell he wasn't comfortable singing like that at the beginning of that song. Um, it was just very unsure. It was
It may have been a
shaky.
studio force thing.
Yeah,
When
maybe.
you hear stuff like that, it may be a studio force thing. And if he's not
Yep.
confident enough to do it, maybe he was confident enough to do it. But a lot of times when you hear stuff like that and it doesn't seem right, a lot of times I often think that's a studio and force thing.
Yep. Yeah, and then he kicked it. They kicked it right back into normal Biohazard territory and just knocked it out of the park. Let me ask you this before I give my review. Two things. When did you first hear this album, and why did you give it to me?
I probably heard this album. What year did it come out?
92.
I would have had to have heard it by 94. Definitely no later than 96. But I would say probably closer to 94 would have been about 2 years after I was out of high school. Or
Mhm.
no. I'm class of 94. So it would have been my senior year. You're class of 94 too, ain't you?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we're same class. But anyways, class of 94, senior year, would have definitely heard this album or got turned on to it by God, man, I want to say I probably got turned on to it by maybe God rest his soul, fucking Harry Easton.
Okay.
He may have. But why did I give you this album? Because honestly, my goal for you right now, at least for the time being, until I decide to give you a break, I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you bits and pieces of my musical journey, but they're going to come in chunks. they're going to come in some serious fucking chunks. Like you're getting a 3-piece on this New York City hardcore. You already named your third album. You're getting that album next week.
There you go.
But the album I'm giving you tonight that kind of goes. Well, let's think about this. This album, the next week's episode is going to be episode what, 29?
Yep.
So if I gave you Judgment Night, it would be for episode 30. We can't do that.
Nope.
We have a special review that night.
Yes, we do. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But first, before we get into any of that, I'm going to give my review on this album.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's see. What was to your best of your knowledge, what was the highest rated album that I have given of all the episodes?
Go through control.
Uh-huh. And that was what, a 10?
Solid 10.
Solid 10. If I could go any higher than a 10, that would be this album.
Really?
This by far, man, I love this album. There was
hard not
no,
to, dude.
And I will say this,
dude, it's hard not to, dude.
Yeah, I will say this: you cannot listen to this album with low volume. You have to crank it up to fully appreciate every bit of awesomeness. You have to crank this up. So 10 all day long, no questions asked. Even with that little shaky intro to Loss, forget about it. Everything else is just
on the money.
Especially for this style of music, perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
It is. To me, it's a perfect album. I sat there and I listened to it the day that I gave it to you, and I was like, God, man, why have I not been listening to these guys? Like, I know I've been in the doom realm, man, but I always like to go back and visit things. And that album, man, just.
Well, here's the thing. Here's kind of what scared me. So I was like, well, should I listen to another album? And I was afraid to, because I'm like, damn, man, this was so good. I don't want to be disappointed with something else. Like anything else it felt like it would be a disappointment. So I have not listened to any more, but God, so good.
You should check out some more of the library. The earlier albums were definitely really, really, really good.
Well, this was the second album, so
I think for the most part they kept pretty much the same formula. Great band, just a great band. I hope to catch them live. I hope they go out on tour, and I get to finally catch them live. I would shit bricks, dude. That's what I'm going through right now. I'm just trying to go through and make sure that I see the people that I want to see. Scott and I are probably going to go see Doyle on Friday. So
there you go.
Well, with that being said, I'm not going to bullshit, and I'm going to get straight to the fucking point. Are you ready for your album for next week?
I am waiting with bells and whistles.
Your album next week is going to be in the same style genre. I think from around the same fucking area. I have seen these guys once. I have not seen them since I was in high school. Getting them over to the States is a damn nightmare. It fucking sucks. Propane. The Truth Hurts. Propain. The Truth Hurts.
Oh, okay. I remember seeing the name.
Perfect album example. And I think there's one of our mutual friends would agree with me. From New York style hardcore, perfect example. Okay. And this would be a perfect transition into the Judgment Night soundtrack. I implore you, since I will not be able to give you that album coming up, take a final dive on the New York style trip. I'm giving you the best.
Now listen, we got season 2, baby.
I know, but I'm giving you the best of the best, dude.
Yeah.
You know, in my personal opinion.
Okay. Propane, The Truth Hurts.
Propane, The Truth Hurts. If you can't go balls in on that title track, dude, you don't know nothing about metal. I mean, I don't give a shit.
All right. Well, now I heard the song. I'm good.
Fuck off.
I give it a 2.
Listen, I don't know how you're going to love that album, but not love this album.
Okay.
If I had to guess,
I'll find a way.
If I had to guess your rating on this album, I'm going to say 8.5.
Okay. So, my friend, I'm going to give you. I actually seen these guys. They, if I remember right, it was a little hazy. Uh, it was this band, The Sword,
Oh, I want to
and
see the Sword so fucking bad, dude.
this band and The Sword opened up for Nashville Pussy at the Rivari Room.
At the fucking Rivari Room?
Yep. Scott went with me on that. Confirm with Scott. I could have drank too much, but that's how I remember it.
I should have been at that show with you clowns.
Yep. So the album that you're going to get is the only album that these guys released, which I just hate because I love these dudes.
They only released one album.
There's only one album. It is Artemis Piledriver. Artemis Piledriver.
Artemis Piledriver. Artemis Piledriver.
Yeah.
One album.
Yep. My God.
That's some
Southern Doom metal.
Dude.
Southern Doom. Sal's gonna do it again.
All right, we'll see it. But listen, I feel the same way about Power Trip. We only got 2 albums from them before fucking Riley died.
Yeah.
And dude, they're some of the best thrash metal you've heard in decades, man.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do some more digging on it, but literally they were around for under 10 years. They released the one album, and they just said, we're going to, like, 2 of the guys went one way and 2 of the guys went the other way.
Are they doing anything musically?
I don't know if it's anything current, so I'll get back to you by next week.
Cool.
Because I'm curious.
Piledriver.
Yep.
Artemis Piledriver. I like that name.
Not to be confused with the Artemis Pyle Band. Way different.
Cool. Well, shit, brother, we're rounding about the hour marker on this show.
Sweet.
I've had a blast. I'm sure you've had a blast. We reviewed some really solid albums. Man, I'm really glad you like that album. Can't wait for you to hear that Propane album, man. I got to see them on that tour. It was a phenomenal show. Phenomenal show.
Yep. All right. Well, guys, please, if you like us, hate us, anything, if you think you're all right, still give us a like, shoot us a comment, find us on Spotify, obviously the old YouTube, and we'd really like to hear from you, and we really want you to
hit that bell button down there on YouTube. You'll get notifications when shows come up. We're usually up by 10 o'clock every Tuesday.
Yep, absolutely. So, and check out these albums. I mean, this is part of what we want too. We want you guys, if you're not familiar with what's going on, check these albums out, because if you think we're full of shit, man, that'd be fun too, because I like a little confrontation.
I'll tell you, I'd like to see people suggest albums to us, with sincerity. Don't give me your average yeah. Give me a sincere album that means something to you.
What are you talking about? Average yeah? That was one of the best lines you've ever heard.
Right. Anyway. I'm Tone.
I'm Bruce.
We're hooked on Sonic. Thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later.
See ya.